Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and very good evening to Dr. Wan. I am Amirul Hakimi bin Mahmud with nometric B092010081. I am from Bmmp 3/1. In this video, I've been tasked to coach one of my family members about lean manufacturing and how they apply this lean concept on their daily life. So I've been decided to choose my cousin, which I call him Abang Long. So Abang Long will explaining about lean manufacturing and concept of lean, how he applying this concept. So without further ado, let's go to the next video.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and peace and greetings. My name is Muhammad Fadli bin Fakri. I'm actually currently working as a research officer at the University of Malaya. And my relations to the coach, Muhammad Amirul Hakimi, is actually we are cousin from my father's side. So yeah, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Amirul for the coaching session during this Raya. So I think about lean manufacturing or lean productions. So I would like to thank him for the sharing and the coaching session on this lean manufacturing. So based on his sharing, I think lean manufacturing is all about two things. One is actually to minimize waste within manufacturing systems or ecosystems, and then number two, while looking at it, they actually trying to maximize productivity. So two things: minimize waste, and second is actually to maximize production. So based on the sharing session by Amirul, I think there are 5 principles of lean manufacturing. And number one is actually to, if I'm not mistaken, identify the customer's perspective, the value, identify the value from customer's perspective. So all in all, I think customers play a very crucial role at the beginning of the stage of the lean production, in which they will provide feedback. What are the added value for the product or services that they need? And at the end of the day, lean manufacturing is trying to serve it back on which the product services on which the customers are willing to pay for it. So that's the most important part of it. And then number two is to map the value stream, because lean manufacturing is not just about one stage, but it involves multiple and several stages. So the mapping of the value stream is very important, because there will be feedback, there will be information, there will be I don't know, analysis of the flow of the information or materials that we receive or required throughout the process. So then principle number 3, I think, is to create flow. In short, it means lean manufacturing is actually trying to create a smooth flow as much as possible by eliminating all the barriers and identify ways to improve them. So and then the fourth one, I think, is to establish a pull system. So this is back again to the concept of I think pull versus push system in the business world. So lean manufacturing is telling us that lean manufacturing is all about we can only produce or start working on new things, producing new products or services only when there's a demand, instead of a push system. Because push system is all about you will produce a lot of things just to make sure that they're there for the customers to be attracted with. So then number 5, I think, is to strive for perfection. So through continuous improvement system. So there are many principles or concepts that we can use or apply throughout this time, on which one is, for example, Kaizen, introduced by the Japanese, by the Japan, and then another one is 5S, and also PDCA, if I'm not mistaken, plan, do, check, act, in terms of if you're working in auditing, so or yeah, for standards and all that. So all this come in handy to make sure that the process is actually working towards perfection. And then Amirul also shared about the waste. What are type of ways is actually considered in this lean manufacturing. There are many concepts of what they call waste in lean manufacturing. So I'm just going to share what I remembered during the sharing session. I think based on the Toyota production system, Toyota lean production system, they introduced 7 or maybe 8 type of waste. One is unnecessary transportation, which is we need to cut it off when only for the necessary transportation, I think, for the logistic part. And then too many inventory will not work or help in terms of lean manufacturing. And then the third is actually unnecessary motion of people or product or equipment, machinery. And then number 4 is actually, I think, about waiting. So which includes whether it's the people or the idle equipment throughout the process of manufacturing the products or services. So if there's waiting, too much waiting, that will actually hinder the process of lean manufacturing to be more efficient and effective. And then number 5 is overproduction. So that is also considered waste, because I remember one of the principle of lean manufacturing is actually to create or promote a pull system instead of a push, because if you're promoting push system, you will overproduce. So lean manufacturing is against it, because overproduction is actually considered waste. And then number 5, I think, is overprocessing. So remember, lean manufacturing taught us about striving for perfection and continuous improvement. And maybe last but not least, I think defects or malfunctioned products or services. So that is also considered waste. So lean manufacturing is against it, because defects is not supposed to happen. So based on this coaching by Amirul, I think lean manufacturing is really interesting principle or concept that which we can apply in daily life. For example, in my nature of works, I'm dealing with many researches, whether it's in physical lab or in actual site on the ground. For example, we're working on real environment fields, such as we work on the lake, monitoring the water quality, and we also work at the what they call it, Zero Waste campaign site, on which we manage our campus waste by our own, whether we try to sort waste according to different categories. So I think lean manufacturing is important for us to be considered within our system, on which we try to eliminate waste, one. And then second is to try improve productivity over time. So lean manufacturing can be part of the circular economy, because they try to eliminate waste as much as possible. And at the end of the day, they try to improve productivity of the whole ecosystem. So I think, yeah, lean manufacturing or lean production, I think, can be applied in daily life. For example, for those who are working in physical labs, they're dealing with many samples and all that. So they need to identify what are the stages that actually can reduce all the unnecessary waste throughout the experiment. So at the end of the day, they will get a better sample, they will get a better result, and they actually help the university to reduce unnecessary costs and logistic, for example. And they, at the end of the day, they also help the university to reduce amount of unnecessary waste. So yeah, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Amirul for introducing me this lean manufacturing or lean production concept. I think it's really helpful. I hope this kind of a sharing session or coaching session by people like Amirul who are taking this course can be uh, can be promoted to wider community out there who doesn't know about this. Yeah. So I think that's about it. Thank you, Amirul, and wish you all the best. Assalamualaikum.